Hi, Fenville families. For those of you who don't feel like reading a whole chapter book every day with Mrs. DeRue, some of your favorite teachers, me included, will read you a picture book every day. Hope you join us and have a good time. Today's story is The True Story of the Three Little Pigs. This is Mrs. DeRue's favorite story. I'm going to read it and then I'm going to show you the pictures, okay? Everybody knows the story of the Three Little Pigs, or at least they think they do. But I'll let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story because nobody has ever heard my side of the story. I'm the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me Al. I don't know how this whole big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. Maybe it's because of our diet. Hey, it's not my fault we wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheep and pigs. That's just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably think you were big and bad too. Look close. Can you see the bunnies and the other things that he mentioned? But like I was saying, the whole big bad wolf thing is all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. This is the real story. Way back in Once Upon a Time, I was baking a birthday cake for my dear old granny. I had a terrible sneezing cold, and I ran out of sugar. So I walked down the street to ask my neighbor for a cup of sugar. Now this neighbor was a pig. He wasn't too bright either. He had built his whole house out of straw. Can you believe it? I mean, who in his right mind would build a house out of straw? So, of course, the minute I knocked on the door, it fell right in. I didn't just want to walk into someone's house, so I called, "Little pig, little pig, are you in?" There was no answer. I was just about to go home without a cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. That's when my nose started to itch. I felt a sneeze coming on. Well, I huffed and I snuffed. Uh-oh. And I sneezed a great sneeze. And you know what? The whole darn straw house fell down, and right in the middle of the pile of straw was the first little pig, dead as a doornail. He'd been home the whole time. It seemed like a shame to leave a perfectly good ham dinner lying there in the straw, so I ate it up. Think of it as a big cheeseburger just lying there. I was feeling a little better, but I still didn't have a cup of sugar, so I went to the next neighbor's house. This neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little smarter, but not too much. He had built his house out of sticks. That's a little stronger. I rang the bell of the stick house, and nobody answered. I called, Mr. Pig, are you in?" And he yelled back, "Go away, wolf. You can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs of my chinny chin chin." I just grabbed the doorknob when, of course, I felt another sneeze coming on. I huffed, and I snuffed, and I tried to cover my mouth, but I sneezed a great sneeze. Uh-oh. And you're not going to believe it, but this guy's house fell down just like his brother's did. And when the dust cleared, there was the second little pig, dead as a doorknob. Wolf's honor. Do you think the wolf's lying? Now, food's going to spoil if you leave it out in the open. So I did the only thing there was to do. I had dinner again. Think of it as a second helping. I was getting awfully full, but my cold was feeling a little better, and I still didn't have that cup of sugar for my dear old Granny's birthday cake. So I went to the next house. This guy was the first and second little pig's brother. He must have been the brains of the family, because he built his house out of bricks, much stronger. I knocked on the brick house. No answer. I called, Mr. Pig, Mr. Pig, are you in? And do you know what that rude little porker answered? He said, get out of here, Wolf. Don't bother me again. Wow, that pig doesn't have very good manners. Talk about impolite. He probably had a whole sack full of sugar, and he wouldn't even give me one little cup for my dear, sweet old Granny's birthday cake. What a pig! I was just about to go home and maybe make a nice birthday card instead of a cake when I felt my cold coming on. I huffed, and I snuffed, and I sneezed once again. Then the third little pig yelled, and your old Granny can go sit on a pin. Well, that was unnecessary. Now, I'm usually a pretty calm fellow, but when somebody talks about my Granny like that, I go a little crazy. And when the cops drove up, of course I was trying to break down this pig's door, and the whole time I was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a real scene. That doesn't look good for Mr. Wolf. The rest of the story, they say, is history. The news reporters found out about the 2 pigs that I had for dinner, and they figured a sick guy going to borrow a cup of sugar didn't sound very exciting. So they jazzed up the story with all that huff and puff and blow your house down. And they made me the big, bad wolf. That's it, the real story. I was framed. Do you think he did it? But maybe you could loan me a cup of sugar. Would you loan him a cup of sugar? Maybe you could make a cake too, since you're at home anyway. Okay, today's challenge, guys, since it's St. Patrick's Day, is to color and cut out a 4-leaf clover, put it on your front window, make sure it's big enough so people can see it, and then with your family, go take a walk around the neighborhood and see how many 4-leaf clovers you can find, or a drive. So if you live a long way off the road, like Mrs. DeRue does, maybe you could put it out on your mailbox so people can see it. Count up how many you find, and let me know in the comments. Have a great day, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.